Hi, it's Caitlin, and I am really excited to share another breathing technique with you today. Today we're going to be doing a technique that's called Kriya, or Joyous breath. And this is an incredible breathing technique to use when you could just use some more joy, some more happiness, some more energy in your life. This is a great one. I use this one a lot when I wake up in the morning and I am feeling more bleary-eyed than bright-eyed, and I just, you know how some days you're like, I'd just rather stay in bed, I don't want to do it. This is a great way to turn that day around, to turn that attitude around, and to invite in a brighter energy. So I woke up this morning thinking, oh, I'm going to make this video and it's going to be Kriya, like I love this one, I'm so excited. And then it was literally snowing. And part of me was like, how is it snowing in April? I don't want to do it anymore. It's gray, it's cold, ugh. And then I thought, no, this is a perfect time to do Kriya. And that is because this breathing technique is all about fire and all about inviting in energy and warmth and brightness. And I thought, what better day to do that than one when it's like cold and gray and miserable outside for me. So I am excited to do this breathing technique with you. This is a great breathing technique for energy, to build warmth in the body. It's great for focus, and it is just really empowering. I think a lot of times with yoga, we think of it as being like calming and still and peaceful, and like we're gonna meditate and be chill and relax and restorative, all of that. And that is an incredibly powerful side of yoga. I love that, the peace, the calm, the stillness. I know I get a lot of that from yoga in my life, and it's been amazing. But there's also this whole other side of what yoga is and what it can do. And that is the side that has to do with power and strength and heat and fire, and that is what Kriya is. So Joyous breath is very much a powerful breathing technique. It is one to ignite your personal power, to just bring a lot of fire and heat and energy to your life. So I would not recommend doing this one right before bed because it's gonna be hard to sleep, right? It won't make you like amped up or anything like that, but it is energy promoting. And so, like I said, this is a great one to do first thing in the morning. This is great to do when you're about to do something brave. When you have to do something courageous, this is an incredible breathing technique because it can make you feel powerful and strong because you are those things at your core. And so this really focuses on that core part of you, that center, like your true center, and igniting the spark, like fanning. I think of like billows. I am from Utah, I've mentioned, and I'm obsessed with the outdoors. I love to camp, and so I always think about like when you're making a campfire, or maybe you've like made a bonfire or whatever, you start with like this tiny little kindling, and then you use bellows, or just sometimes you blow just using your mouth into that little kindling to like get that fire roaring, to really get it going. And so I want you to think of that imagery today of like this little spark that lives right in your core, right in your center, and that we're using Kriya just like billows, joyous breath, to just bring air in and fan that flame, to bring out that roaring, burning fire of strength and power and transformation and purification that lives inside of you. So let's do that. I want to start in a kneeling position. You actually do this breathing technique standing, but we're gonna start kneeling here first so I can walk you through it. And I want you just to come into a comfortable position, kneeling, seated, whatever, and close your eyes and just take a couple of deep breaths here to get centered, to arrive in today's practice of this breathing technique. So take a couple of deep breaths here. And I want you just to focus on that center of your being, of your body. Just a couple of inches above your navel, your belly button, and a couple of inches below your sternum. And either just picture or feel a bright spark right in that center. And breathe. Just notice how that spark feels. And then notice how each time you breathe in deeply to that spark, it gets a little bit bigger. And just notice that feeling of warmth that grows inside of you. And as we do this Ha Kriya breathing technique, I want you to stay focused on this center part of you, this spark at the core of your being. So take a few more breaths here just to notice how it feels. And then when you're ready, slowly flutter your eyes open. And we'll now add the Ha Kriya breathing technique. So as I mentioned, this is to fire up your core. And so I want you to really think about using your core, your ab muscles, to push that breath out on the exhale. So I'm going to show you what our upper body is doing, and then we'll come into a standing position with our lower body and do the full breathing exercise. So to do Ha Kriya, you start with your arms out in front of you, about shoulder height. And then you just flip your palms open, up to the ceiling, up to the sky. You can make fists. I like to make fists because they make me feel like very cool and empowered, like I'm ready for something. But if that doesn't make sense to your body or doesn't feel good in your hands, you don't have to make fists. And then what you're going to do with your arms is just pull them back by your hips. So on the inhale, hands are up. And on the exhale, pull back toward your waist. And after you do that a number of times, I'll give you a count. You then bring your arms up overhead. Again, you can make fists or keep your fingers engaged, but not like trying too hard, not straining. And then you just pull on the exhale, your hands down. So let's do that again. Palms up, arms at shoulder height, and pull to the waist. Arms up and pull. Just to like goalpost cactus arms. And that's what your body's doing. Let's talk about what your breath is doing. So you breathe in just fully like you would with a normal yogic breath. And then on the exhale, you forcibly push out and make the sound ha. And I think of this as like martial arts. I think of it as, Tai Chi, preparing for battle, like all those empowering moments. And so you really have to commit to this breath. So I'm going to show you. It's like, ha! So loud, forceful, powerful. Ha! And I will say one thing on this. I know that this breath can feel silly. I know that it can seem like, what am I doing here? Or like, I don't want to yell, or I'm going to like half yell or like fake it a little bit. And I just want to encourage you to just be all the way in on this breath. Just trust me, trust yourself that committing fully to this breath is going to be empowering and not silly. It's funny because when I ask people to take a full, deep breath, they never shortchange themselves, right? You breathe all the way in because you know how good it's going to feel. And you don't go, oh, I feel silly breathing in deeply. I'm only going to do 70% of a deep breath. No, you go all the way in and you get all those benefits. And so I just want to remind you with this breath, go all the way in. Don't worry about feeling silly. Just trust yourself, trust your body, trust your breath, and try a couple fully committed and just see how you feel. So we're going to do this breathing technique, and to do so, we'll do 4 in a row like this, and then we'll do 4 with our arms overhead, and then we'll do 2, 2, overhead, and then we'll do 1 pulling, and then 1 overhead. I'll count it for us, so I just want to let you know that. And we'll do that twice through, so we'll do a pause in between. So let's get started. Come up into a standing position. And the pose we start in is called Goddess, and that just tells you everything. Like, this pose is so empowering, goddess level empowering. So bring your feet to about shoulder distance, so your ankles are just under your shoulders, and rotate your toes out. So point them out to the corner edges of your mat. Just so you're a little bit, got your toes pointed out about 45 degrees. And then from here, you're going to sink into what's called a goddess pose. And to do that, you just let your hips sink back, Bring your knees to about a 90-degree angle. You can do this a little bit. I like to flow side to side just to kind of like really sink into my hips. And then once you're comfortable, you bring your hands into goalpost arms. Knees are turned out, tailbone is tucked under, ribs and lower abs are pulled in, shoulder blades are rolled down your back, crown of the head is up high, lengthen through the body. If this is too much strain on your quads, you can come up at any point. You can just be in it a little bit, right? You don't have to go all the way down if this is uncomfortable to you. Or if you just need to give your body a break because this is a new feeling for you, you can always come up and then go back into the pose. This is also sometimes called horse pose because you think of like being a mighty warrior on top of a horse, powerful, if that connects with you. So goddess pose connects with me. So we come into goddess pose here, and I want you to close your eyes and sense that center of your body, that fire that we're going to ignite. You can open your eyes, watch me, and join me as we bring our arms out to shoulder height and pull them in for our first round of 4, 4, 2, 2, 1, 1. Ready? Let's go. Inhale. Ha! 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 Bring your arms down to your knees, stand up. Heel toe your feet back together. And then root down into just a mountain Tadasana pose. Close your eyes. And notice how just a few seconds of breathing has changed how you feel. Breathe in and out. Notice if you're out of breath. Notice if your heart rate has come up. Notice the energy level in your mind and body. And then notice that center, that spark. How does it feel now? Give yourself a few more breaths here. And then we're going to do that breathing exercise one more time. So open your eyes. We're going to step back into goddess pose. So feet out wide, toes pointed toward the corners of your mat. Sink down into your hips. Arms come to shoulder height. And begin. Ha! 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 Hands come to knees. Close your eyes. Slowly straighten up. Open your eyes and just heel toe your feet or step, whatever's comfortable for you, back to hip width distance. Root your feet down. Roll your shoulder blades back. Close your eyes and just breathe here. Notice the energy just coursing through your body. The rate that your heart is pumping blood, flooding your system. And feel the power and strength at your core as that tiny spark now burns brighter. Breathe here and just notice the heat, fire, and power inside of you. Go ahead and open your eyes. So that is Kriya. Use this breath whenever you need some energy, some motivation, some power in your life. And we're going to be using it in the next flow that has to do with the fire element. As always, it is a privilege and a joy for me to share yoga with you. And that spark that lives inside of me recognizes the beautiful, bright spark that lives inside each and every one of you. Namaste.